More. Okay. Hello. The snack that smiles back. I love it. That's the best name. Hello. Welcome. Okay, it just said Beast was in here. Where the heck did he go? Oh, not much. I am playing my Disney Dreamlight Valley. And just trying to playing Disney Dreamlight Valley. And let me tell you, does this game go deep? Deep, deep. Holy cow. Okay, so last night I found shadows on the like a wall of one of the areas that went back to a Merry Melodies. Like an early Donald Duck Merry Melodies. So imagine if anything that is Disney was put into its own little world, its own little island. Are you kidding? You change what you want. You. Ugh. Okay, I guess I have a mushroom pizza on my own now. Uh, and then, so there's a whole bunch of stuff from Disney on this island. And then suddenly something happens, something changes, and it's almost like somebody takes the map of the island, scrunches it up into a ball, and then rips and shreds the paper apart. And that's what happens to the land. So you come to this place not knowing what's going on. Thank you. And you find out that there's something that happened called the forgetting. And the characters are all not normal. They don't look quite right. They don't act quite right. No, it's a different one. That was more like the with the little figures. It's a little bit different. But this, it's almost like Mickey was a complete narcissist. Donald was angry beyond all reason. Goofy was just an absolute idiot. Um, Minnie was completely codependent, like no identity whatsoever outside of Mickey. It was like they had taken one aspect of the personality of the characters and had just turned it up to 11. And then they talk about people being missing and not really knowing what's going on, and it gets a little confusing for a little while, and then you start to notice things changing and things growing and things refining. And as you play, you realize that it's almost like you have to take this map and you have to spread it back out. You have to pull all the pieces back in and put the world together. And I have been playing since pre-release, and I am disabled, but a hardcore gamer. I've been gaming since Atari, and I'm older than I look. And I have been a gamer my whole life. And I also, as an autistic person, I have spatial thinking. So I see things in patterns and abstractions. And so I catch on to little minute changes and patterns that happen in things around me. The tiniest movements, a single pixel change, and I'll notice the shift. So I was catching on a little sooner than I think most people were. And really, like, I ran into a lot of animosity because of it. I'm actually no longer allowed on 4 out of the 5 Disney Dreamlight Valley Reddits because people didn't like me defending myself. But this is a game like nothing I've ever seen before. This is a new kind of game. This is a game that a lot of people are just using to decorate and to dress up and play it like it's a paper doll and a, little playhouse kind of thing. There's not a lot of quests, and they start to get bored because they don't realize the depth of the game. They don't realize how big this game is and how much is in here already. There are secrets upon secrets upon secrets, and it's all hidden, and a lot of it plays out in the shadows behind it. And if you're not at just the right angle, you're going to miss some of the beauty of this game. Most people noticed one thing about the game. The main storyline quests, they lead you to a new character, which is almost like your inner child. And whether they meant to or not, Disney forces you to have inner child dialoguing. And for those of you who haven't had therapy or intense childhood trauma, I'm so happy you had such a good life. But for those of us who do have childhood trauma and have had to do things like inner child dialoguing, you'll know what I mean when I say it forces you to go to therapy. You kind of meet your childhood self after things have gone completely awry, and there's a lot of anger and a lot of confusion. And you kind of have to just figure life out. But what I found amazing is not only how they have combined so many different elements of Disney and so many different elements of gaming, but they've done so in a completely new way, where probably 75% of the people will never find some of these secrets, will never figure out some of these puzzles because they're not in your face. You have to look for them. You have to find them. And people don't know what's in the game yet. And I've had theories, and that's what got me into trouble the first time. Yeah, it's PlayStation, Xbox, PC. It's also on what is that? The Nintendo handheld thing. Switch. It's also on Switch. And sorry. It's on the Switch. And so it's pretty much it's on all platforms. I even had a friend who could play it on her mobile device with a couple of little controller things that she stuck on her phone. But I'm pretty sure that there's at least 1 to 4 fairies in one of the clocks I'm about to unlock. Disney Dreamlight Valley. I'm personally playing it on Xbox. And I have gotten really close to solving some of the secret puzzles. Some of them I've solved, some of them I haven't, but because I have a lot of time with my disabilities and a lot of attention with my hyperfocus and autism and my ADHD, I have had plenty of time to figure some of these things out. Oh, thank you so much. That's so sweet of you, Tintin. There's all sorts of things going on all the time, different events, different contests. Right now it is the Dreamlight Park Fest, so it is you get a lot of carnival rides this time, costumes for different characters. But as you play it and as you do the quests and the achievements, you find that the world just starts to open up in beautiful ways. And there are ways of accomplishing some of these puzzles in various ways. Oh, thank you. Thank you, girl. Or is it girl? So it's been really kind of the most magical thing for me just to realize how many different ways I can solve these puzzles. You can fish to solve the puzzles. You can dig, you can plant, you can grow, you can harvest, you can forage, you can pick fruit off of trees, you can play a little miniatures game against other people in the world. You can design clothes, you can design furniture, you can design rooms or the entire world. And the whole time you are making tiny changes. It is literally sometimes a pixel in action. You may not notice it for the longest time, but then suddenly something changes. And I've had times where I thought something went wrong. I thought my game crashed because the game will automatically reboot. And I was like, oh no, what did I lose? What did I lose? How far back do I have to go for my last save? Oh, I'm always improving. I have some conditions that will never get better, but I am always improving. And sometimes better isn't the answer. Getting better isn't the answer. Sometimes it's learning to live with the difficulties that you have. And that's what I do now. I work best with the difficulties I have. And I've learned to love my life despite them. My life isn't what I thought it would be. It isn't even close. But it's a life I never would have dreamed of, even if I had had all of the things that I had wished for. If I had every opportunity, I would have missed a lot. If I was in a life that was nothing but comfort, I wouldn't be as strong as I am now. I wouldn't be as brave as I am now. I wouldn't have the confidence I do now. And I wouldn't be so determined to figure out the puzzle that makes this train. There's a train in this game in so many different places. And I'm telling you, I'm going to figure this one out. I'm pretty sure I have to build the train tracks involving these lights, but it has to be during daytime. Thank you. Yeah, I think I got all my mascara off. Most of it. I actually have over 9 rare conditions. And most of them were not discovered before the age of 40. But now I know what's mostly going on with my body and how it happened and why things didn't make sense for most of my life. When they say you can't judge a book by its cover, I'm pretty much the definition of that. Most people look at me and they don't think I'm in my 40s. But I am. I'm 43. I am going through menopause. And I still have age guessers guessing in the 20s. Part of that is one of my conditions. And part of that is dumb luck. Part of it is living healthy and just learning to live a happy life. Not letting what keeps you down keep you down. The first condition that I had diagnosed was celiac disease. That was quite unfortunate for me because I was a foodie and I was a baker and I loved eating everything and anything. But I adapted. And then 2 years ago, they discovered a lot more. So with celiac disease, I can't have gluten. So that's wheat, rye, malt, spelt, anything that has, it's a lot of grains other than rice and oats. And even some oats are dangerous. And then they took away dairy. And then they took away sugar, refined sugar. And then they took away alcohol. And then they took away red meat. And then they took away soy. And then they took away almost all meat altogether. I don't know. It sounds familiar. Hold on, I'm sorry, I've got to get my coffee. They let me have my coffee still. So my diet is primarily fruit and oats and nuts and seeds and a little bit of fish. I can have eggs if they're free range, and I can have chicken occasionally if it's free range. But primarily, I eat a lot of fruit. I eat a lot of rice. And, oh, Mimi potato! I love potatoes. I love potatoes. But I can have potatoes, but only if the skin is on. And I cannot have white rice, but I can have brown rice. And I can have long grain white rice, a little bit. My favorite fruit, my favorite food of all time is watermelon. Watermelon is the best. But what I eat, not probably like 70% of my diet is probably apples. I eat a lot of apples. It's just easier. And if I ate watermelon like I ate apples, I would always be getting up to pee. And no, thank you. As it is, I need to drink a ton of water. So, so yes, I had celiac disease, and I knew that since the age of 30. But I've had other things that weren't explained by celiac. Um, Things that were excruciatingly painful. Um, I had major knee dislocations. I had times where I would wake up and my arm would be missing and cold and dead, and I'd have dreams that my arm was cut off, and I'd wake up and my arm, I wouldn't know it, but it would be above my head like this. And what happened is I was dislocating my shoulder in my sleep and pinching my auxiliary nerve. And my arm would be basically cold and numb, and I would have to search for it above my head. And I have a person I live with who's here 24/7. And then I also have a medical caretaker, and she's here for about 5 hours, 5 days a week. I get 28 hours a week of in-home medical assistance. Um, but yeah, I would have these times where I had to just sort of feel for my arm and just sort of pull it back down and hope I was pulling the right direction and I wasn't twisting my arm the wrong way. And my shoulder would sort of pop back in, and eventually I would get feeling back in it. So it turns out I have something called hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos. It basically means that my collagen is too bendy and stretchy. It is part of why I haven't wrinkled more than I have, because it just sort of everything bends and flexes a little easier. For some people, they have with the classical type, they actually end up looking like they're 90 years old by the time they're 20. They have collagen that just is so stretchy that every movement makes a wrinkle. And I'm fortunate that mine makes me bendy, but still I snap back. So, yeah, no, I'm never alone. um, I mean, I'm alone in the room, but I'm never alone. So, uh, but it means that my tendons and my ligaments don't hold my body together. So it's very easy for me to get injuries. And there are a couple of things that come along with hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos. One of them is called mast cell activation syndrome or mast cell activation disease. It is a condition that causes your mast cells, which are responsible for your histamine reactions, to not work properly. They either don't work when they should, or they work too well when they shouldn't. You can have spontaneous allergic reactions and to things that you were never allergic to before. Um, the beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I actually I see a person's soul before I see them. I I am I am not a normal person, shall we say. I've never been normal. I've had 3 near-death experiences. One of the conditions I have is narcolepsy. That means I can't go into deep sleep, but I'm never fully awake. I live somewhere between awake and asleep all the time. I fell asleep when I was 8 years old, and I never really woke up again. Um, I personally think everyone is beautiful because everyone has the divine spark inside of them. Everyone is a little piece of God. And that makes everybody at their soul, at their very core, perfect. Everyone is born perfect. The thing is, we think there's stuff that is wrong with us. We think we're broken. We think we're bad. We think that we are unfixable. I spent 40 years thinking that quality control missed one because I shouldn't be here. And then I realized that I was a victim of horrific child abuse and neglect. And my mind was twisted and made to think that the world was a different place and I was a different person than I actually am. And when I realized that, and I snapped out of it, and I realized who I was, and I saw the world the way it is, we are all perfect. We are all worthy of unconditional love. We are all exactly who we are supposed to be. We just can't see it sometimes because we don't see what our lessons are, what our gifts are, what every pain and trouble teaches us, and how it helps us grow. We are not worthless. We are not useless. We can't determine our own worth. We can only determine what we value. Our worth comes from other people, how they value us, and what they value us for, and how much they value us for that. And that's something that we can never know. But each one of us is absolutely unique. Even if we could clone ourselves perfectly, no two people, not even genetically identical people, will ever have the same experiences. We all grow and change in our own different ways. And we have a tendency to, travel in packs. We cluster ourselves, we give ourselves names and titles and identities. Man, woman, American, African, Asian, and then, we separate ourselves down even farther. Christian, Muslim, Hindu, Catholic, Protestant, agnostic, atheist, spiritual. We put these little identity markers on us to find our communities. And in doing so, what allows us to gather also differentiates us and separates us. And what we find is we have those people, we have our pack, and we may travel down the same path with them for most of our lives. But we all have our own unique story to tell. We all have our own thing to discover and do in our mission in life that we haven't known while we traveled together. Eventually, every single person needs to take the lead and blaze their own trail. Eventually, everyone walks alone. But that's how it's supposed to be. Oh. Okay, so let me see here. He broke up with you because your best friend. What is it about your best friend that made him break up with you? And the breakup made you faint? Is that what I'm understanding? Do you typically faint from strong emotions or from or is there something else that is fainting a common thing for you? I do ask for a reason. Having so many rare, mysterious illnesses, I have had to become well versed in the medical industry. I know rare conditions. And fainting only happens for a few reasons. So I'm concerned. And if you didn't care, he isn't worth your, he doesn't deserve you. Favorite color is blue. Don't ever accept someone who doesn't deserve you. Okay, so aside from gaming, so as a late diagnosed autistic, I found out that when girls with autism, we tend to collect or collect special interests. And so my special interest is science, like all of science. Oh yes, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm more concerned for Tim Tim. I might look sad because I did not sleep well last night. um, between my narcolepsy and I went to an event last night and it was wonderful, but we had some rose tea and I forget that sometimes tea is processed with gluten, and I think there was a slight cross contamination. I was pretty unwell last night, so thank you. I am rather fond of my personality as well. um, I learned pretty quickly that I could either be miserable, and there are people who would love that, or I could say screw it and just be happy. And it might piss people off, but they were going to be pissed off one way or another. I'm getting there. Coffee and water is helping. Lately, so I was very much interested. I was studying the triangulation between sociological structure, religious structure, ideology like the Godhead, and sexual norms throughout history. So for that, it might sound a little confusing, but basically, when when we were hunter gatherers, the women got most were the most important people in the community because not only were they the people giving birth, but they collected most of the food. Oh, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. And so your best friend is with him now? You're not alone. You're not alone. Let me tell you right now, okay? I'm with you. I love you unconditionally and always. No one deserves that treatment. And a friend that does that is not a best friend. That's not a BFF. That's an FBF. That's a former best friend. And I'm so sorry that happened to you. And I mean it. I really do. If you ever need anything, reach out, okay? I'm here for you. I know some of what that feels like. Believe me, they're not going to have a joyous situation there. That is not something that is anything you're going to want to be troubled by. That is going to be a craptastic shit show. And you're best away from it. I know it doesn't feel that way, but it is. You don't need that. Waddles, thank you. But the more serious thing is the fainting. Is that something that happens often? Okay, here's a truth bomb. Jealousy should never be something that you feel from your friends or your family. I had a mother who was jealous of me. And it was one of the surest signs that she was not well. Jealousy is an ugly emotion. We all feel it from time to time. No, that's not true. Jealousy is different than envy. Jealousy is like the dark version of envy. You can wish you had things other people had, but to act cruelly because of that, that's more what jealousy is. It's okay to wish you had the same thing other people had. It's not okay to wish ill upon them because they have it. It's not okay to do something that would hurt them because you wish you had it. No, she didn't. And somebody who does things like that did it to hurt you, not to help themselves, not because it was right for them, not because it was their destiny or their good decision or their twin flame bullshit. That is an act of cruelty. And it's something that is not found in a best friend. But again, the important part is your health. Do you faint often? Snack, yeah, that's actually one of the reasons why I did it is, so my mom actually raised me in a doomsday cult. It was a Christian-based doomsday cult. And we left the church quite suddenly because, quite frankly, we left right before they were raided by the FBI. And they were actually grooming me to be like a child holy figure kind of a thing. It was, it was a little concerning. Um, that they thought I was special. Um, well, because I am. Everybody is. But I was a different kind of special because I think it's because of how young I died the first time. Um, I died when I was about 6 weeks old, and my father saved my life. And then he was gone 4 weeks after that. He died when I was 10 weeks old. Um, so I never got to know my father, but I'm told that I know him better than anyone else in the world because he's never left my side. He has always been with me. I thought he was an imaginary friend for the longest time because I wasn't allowed to ask about him or see his picture or know about him or anything. All I knew of him came from the times when I would be alone and I would sneak in to where his wallet was hidden, and I would have his old driver's license and his CB radio license, and that's all I had of him. I saw the projects he worked on. No, it doesn't make me sad. It makes me happy to think of him. The only thing that's sad is that we didn't get to build living memories. But I always have him with me. And it's more, I feel sad for what opportunities we missed. But that doesn't mean that I didn't get to have him in my life. He, I think he's my replacement. Uh, why, why shouldn't I express myself on here? This is exactly why I'm here. To express myself. To share myself with you. There is no limit to me. And this is the last time I'm here. I have one memory of my father, one memory of seeing his face, and that's the day he saved me. And I only remember because of how traumatic the memory was. My brother was standing behind my mom. He was 2.5 years old. Oh, no, no, no. I cry over everything. I'm a crier. And my mom was sitting in front of him. We were in the tub and she was holding me under the water. And my brother was screaming and crying and asking what she was doing. And just before everything went black, I saw my father burst through the door. And he saved me. And the only thing I remember of that experience was, well, of any of the experiences, it was always whether or not I wanted to go back. And the first time I said, yes, it's worth it, I didn't hesitate. The second time I died was again at the hands of my mother, almost the same way my father went, waiting until it was almost too late. With my dad, she meant to hurt him. She didn't mean to kill him. My father had some sort of an illness that was affecting his chest. It was like a chest cold. And his first wife begged him to go to a doctor, said that this was bad and he needed to see a doctor right away. But my parents they were on the roads to divorce. After my father saw what my mother really was, they were on the roads to divorce. Mm-hmm. Very true. It's generational trauma is truly the war of good and evil that our generations are fighting. If there is a holy war, that's it right there, generational trauma. The good news is that there's treatment now. There's answers now. There's education now. It takes about a year to really sort of understand, and another year to really find joy again. But some people do it faster. Happy birthday! Um, is it what, Jursa? Is that how you say it? Waiting for the answer. Is Jursa correct? Ah, happy birthday, Jursa. How old are you? No, 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 no. Tim, I asked you, do you faint often? Is this something that happens often? Because I'm worried about your health, but I may have some answers. And like I said, you're never alone. You're never alone. Freya, hi. 16. Oh, that's a good age. For my 16th birthday, I went up in a hot air balloon. Thank you. I appreciate that. Good, bad genetics. Every time you get sad about something, have you ever fainted when you get super happy? Timton, if you are still at the hospital, are you still at the hospital? Oh, that's nice. What are you going? What kind of restaurant? It's your birthday on Monday. Well, happy birthday to you too. Okay, here's what you need to tell the doctor. Okay? Tell them you need a sleep study because you might be having cataplexy. It may not be a fainting spell. You might have cataplexy. Okay? Cataplexy causes you to faint or it's almost like your body doesn't want to move. It's not paralyzed, but it doesn't move. And it only happens with one thing. And that one thing is definitely something that you need to be tested for, okay? Tell them you might be having cataplexy. It also might be something called vasovagal syncope, okay? And that would be a different test. It's called a tilt table test, and it's exactly what it sounds like. They put you on a table, and then they strap you down, and then the table goes from laying down to almost standing up, and then they wait, okay? So you either need a sleep study or a tilt table test because you might have cataplexy or a fainting disorder. I personally have cataplexy and vasovagal syncope both, okay? This is very, very important. It could prevent you from getting misdiagnosed for major things. Usually this is something that takes years to figure out if it is cataplexy, and it's usually misdiagnosed 3 times before they figure it out. You did the tilt table one, and what did you faint? Or did they have to do the nitrous under your tongue? Hi, Gabriel. Have you ever had times where you're feeling those strong emotions when you're sad and you know that you can move your arms, but you just feel too sad to move them, like they just won't move? Like, you know, if you think about it harder, you could make them move, but they just won't? No, that's not how it works. That's not how this works. I mean, I understand if you don't want to put it in the chat, but please tell them that you might have a fainting disorder, like vasovagal syncope, or if this is easier, just say you might have POTS, P-O-T-S, not pot, POTS, okay? Or you might be experiencing cataplexy. Cataplexy is one you definitely want to know if you're having. Hello, Proud. Are you from India? What part of India? Oh, are you going? Bye, Freya. Happy birthday on Monday. I'm in America. I'm in Pennsylvania currently, but I will be traveling to Uttar Pradesh soon. You're in Mumbai. Wonderful. I think I have to stop over in Mumbai. Or no, I'm stopping over in Delhi. I don't know. I have to look. Yeah, I'm just starting to learn Hindi. I'm not very good, but I can at least do my puja. So no, I have other people that live here with me. I can't wait to go to India, but I'm a little nervous because I don't do well in hot temperatures. So I'm going toward the end of December and into January. Timton, you have me, okay? Um, Let me see, what can I do? Trying to think which email to give you. Okay, why don't you send me an email, okay? Send me an email to Cherry's Jubilee is 42, and that's at gmail.com, okay? Cherry's Jubilee is 42 at gmail.com. I will talk to you about your life, okay? Let me see. Sometimes it doesn't like me doing, I don't know if I can. I don't see where it's going to let me. Oh, I can write it on a piece of paper, I suppose. If I had a pen. I think I put all of my pens in my bag. Oh, I found one. Okay. Yeah, let me see it. Okay. Huh? Aha. Well, get yourself an email and email me, okay? Oh, it's backwards, huh? Oh, I can do this. Here. We'll do this for a second here. Oh. Okay. So email me there, okay? Anybody who needs anything, just email me at that address, okay? Well, I think that Timton was deleting them because it contained personal information, which is completely understandable. Okay? Anybody needs somebody to talk to, I'm always available, okay? I am always available. It may take me a little while to get back to you, but I will get back to you. Okay? I am here for everyone. I don't have much to do in a day except for help people who need it. That's why I'm here. I have a number of philosophies in life. And one of them is that everyone is deserving of unconditional love. And so I love everyone unconditionally. Even though my mother hurt me, I have found a way to love her as well. I can love her and not like the person she is in this life. I can love her and not forgive her. But everyone is deserving of unconditional love. I also believe that there are only two things in the world humanity owns. And that is why we need to care for our elders. We need to care for our elders because they are all we have ever been. And it's why we need to protect our children, because our children are all we may become. To say we own anything else is an illusion. It is to lie to ourselves about the truth of things, because we don't take any of it with us. We borrow it for a time, but we own nothing except our elders and our children. Because of my interest in science, I have been fortunate enough to make a recent discovery where I may be able to help a lot of people. I can't yet. Right now, it's nothing. Right now, it's 100 tons of worthless in my basement. But someday soon, it's going to be worth a lot. And I'm going to help a lot of people because that's what my purpose here in this life is. We have every reason to live joyful lives. We just have a hard time seeing it because of what we've been told. No, I'm not. Not yet. But I will be. It's one of the main reasons I am going in December. I work with a teacher in Uttar Pradesh, and he was like me. Awful parents who did not appreciate him, did not understand him, and did not want him. And he was raised by his grandparents until they passed. And then he lived with his aunt and his aunt's daughter, so his cousin, who was like a sister to him, until his aunt passed. He has a home with a little family farm, and the only people in his family left are him, his cousin, and his parents. He does not acknowledge his parents' existence. They are dead to him because they treated him as if he had never been. So when his aunt passed away and his parents came looking to take the home from him, he said no, and he gave it to his cousin. That allowed her to find someone, get married, and she moved in with her husband's family in the city. So the house went back to him. But he had so many memories, so many joyful memories in that house, and so much sadness in his life that he could not bring himself to live in the house. It was too painful for him. So he boarded the house up. He boarded it up, he locked it up, and he rents an apartment close to where he works. It's right across the street from a hostel. And there are 2 children there. Because of COVID, a lot of the orphanages are full right now where he is. He's in the farming district. And it's a little brother and sister. He loves those children, but he can't adopt them because he's not married. I've always wanted to be a mother. Medically, it's one of the things I can't do. So we're adopting those children together. They've been in a hostel for about 2 years now. Arya will be 6 in September, and Arya just turned 6. Arjit will be 4 in September. I've been in their life since his 3rd birthday. They lost their parents 15 days apart. And they're cared for by somebody who doesn't really care for them. This 4-year-old girl was taking care of a 1-year-old brother. And I'll tell you, she is Shiva touched. The first words she said to me were, "You are my mama. You are my real mom." She didn't ask to be adopted by me. She told me I was her daughter. She was my daughter. She told me I was her mother. And all I could say was, yes, I am. Yes, I am. And they are my joy. And they are everything I ever hoped for. So, these aren't sad. This isn't sad. This is joy. I cry for every emotion. She's in Uttar Pradesh, across the street, about 100 meters from where the teacher lives. But he was so sad in his life when he found me. He was ready to die. And then he saw how I was able to turn my life around when I realized what the reality of it was. And it inspired him. And he changed his life so dramatically and so quickly. He started to inspire the people around him. The students started to get happier. The parents started to get happier. The other staff at the school started getting happier. Oh, there's somebody at the door. 1 second. Hold on. Oh, it might be my caretaker. Why would she be knocking? Oh, 1 second. Oh. Oh, you can just come in. Yeah. Yeah, you can just come in. Yeah. I'm doing a live stream. But I'm going to end it in a minute here, but I was just telling a story, so. Yeah, absolutely. Actually, you can toss those pillow things over to me. I will take those happily. All of them? Yes, all of them. Thank you. And so yeah, everything started to get better. And he's the inspiration of seeing a different way, of seeing themselves a different way, of looking at life a different way. It's had a trickle-down effect. And right now, the last count I heard was over 200,000 people. Nothing in this world is so hard that you cannot overcome it. Fear isn't real. It doesn't exist at all, not unless you let it. Fear only exists if you let it stop you. But that tightness in your chest, that feeling in your stomach, if you push past that, if you keep going despite that feeling, then that feeling is actually courage. That's courage you're feeling. Fear isn't real unless you let it stop you. Don't let it stop you, okay? Be brave. I'm going to go because my caretaker's here, but I'm going to keep streaming. There's ways around that too. You read my pillow? Oh, this behind me? Here, let me make it not backwards for you. Hey, Erin. So lovely to see you. 1 second. Oh, that's what you mean. I didn't realize it was tucked in. Is that better? Okay. I'm glad I met you too, Tim Tin. Stay strong, and remember, you need to be tested, okay? It's either cataplexy or something similar to vasovagal syncope or POTS, okay? I believe in you guys. I love you all, unconditionally and always. And you know how to reach me, okay?